Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for the Vampire Diaries, Season 5, Episode 3, Original Sin. I'm your host, Dom, and with me, I once again have Omikins.
Hey,
How's it going, Umi?
good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how'd you like this episode?
As the season goes on, they're getting better.
They
Much
definitely
better.
are getting better.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, quick little highlight. We got Gregor. We learned his name, finally.
Finally.
Yes. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we already knew it. It's official now.
Yeah.
So we have things like that. Then we had Silas. A lot of stuff happened with him. He seemed like he lost his ability for mind control. I don't know if that was a temporary thing or if it was spur of the moment. But if it was a permanent thing, what do you think he'd do without his special powers? Because he doesn't have super speed. He never did. He never had vampire speed or anything like that. He doesn't feed off of them. So he's basically just immortal with the doesn't die.
Yeah, he has nothing special to offer. He just can't die. That's it. So, he really can't manipulate people anymore. He has no strength to, threaten people for, physically or anything like that. So, he's just another ordinary guy, and he happens to look like Stefan.
He does. So we learned there are more doppelgangers than just the Petrova line of doppelgangers.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Ketsia return this episode, and she kind of explained all this. She came back across the veil when Bonnie cast her spell and all that stuff. So we learned doppelgangers, their nature's balance to correct Silas's corruption, his immortality, his way of life. So much like the originals, and when you kill an original, their entire line of vampires dies. Would killing Silas kill Stefan?
I honestly don't know. Stefan is a vampire. He might have that. So I don't think if he was human, maybe it might work that way. He's kind of a different being now. He's not really a doppelganger anymore because he took on being a vampire. Because that's kind of what happened to Catherine. Even though she was a doppelganger, she had that blood in her. As soon as she became a vampire, that was nullified.
Right. Yeah. So we learned there's quite a bit. There was Silas was the first, and what was Silas's girlfriend's name?
Amora.
Amora. So we have Silas and Amora. We know of Stefan. We don't know if there's any other doppelgangers between. The Ketsia kind of hints that there was, as she said she's been watching these doppelgangers attract, and it's like magnets. So it's like fate is bringing them together. So we're dealing with all that. So Damon is kind of in this place when he finally hears all this. He what do you think is going through Damon's head? Do you think he actually stands a chance with Elena, or does he know his time? He's on borrowed time right now.
Choo choo.
Train's leaving the station.
What's on his mind? He's gonna be confused for a while. He honestly doesn't know where Elena stands anymore because of what he's heard about the doppelgangers naturally being attracted to each other. So, is Elena gonna be that odd person out that doesn't go for her other doppelganger, her couple, when she stays with Damon, or it's just gonna end up she's gonna be going back to Stefan?
Yeah.
Which would be boring, but hey.
Yeah. So, alright, if she does go back to Stefan, the very, very end of the episode, the big twist of this episode was Stefan doesn't remember anything. So now my question to you, is this really Stefan? Or is this another doppelganger?
It's very possible that Stefan's gone and just another form, another doppelganger just kind of stepped down in and he's a new person.
So it's completely possible that that is not even physically Stefan, and it could just be a completely different doppelganger that's messing around with Ketsia, like her plan and all that stuff. She could actually be using Stefan for some other reason.
Yeah, there's, those twists, they happen, and that might be one of them. Ketsuya is kind of a crazy bitch, so I could see her doing something like that.
So let's just assume it is Stefan. His memory has to return. How long do you think it's going to take him for his memory to actually return to knowledge of Stefan and Elena? And is it just Stefan and Elena, or Damon and Elena rather, that are wiped? Does he retain other memories, or is it just like his current life that he doesn't know?
I think it's gonna work the same way as amnesia. They're gonna have to find triggers to, get memories to activate, or they're just gonna, rely on magic. I mean, Bonnie is still there. They can't see her, but Jeremy can.
Right.
She might be able to tell them something magical that they can do themselves to get Stefan's memories back. He is a vampire, after all. His mind's a little bit more complicated than a human, so it might just be his memories are deeply embedded, and it's not like they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. So do you think Ketsia has any other motives other than just revenge on Silas?
I think she's in the same boat as Silas. She doesn't like the vampires. I mean, it doesn't. She has never said anything about it at all. But I don't think she's in agreement with the vampires at all, because she's always talking about the nature's balance and, the way of life and the way it should be. So vampires are kind of an abomination.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because we have Silas as the very first immortal, but then we learn that the originals are actually the first vampires. So there's no direct connection between them. So Silas is pretty much the head of the doppelganger. He's the first of the doppelgangers. So
Yep.
It'd be very interesting to see the kind of twist that they play on that. Because, like we were talking about earlier, whether or not it will kill Stefan, I don't think it will, because Amora, the original Patrona doppelganger, she was killed. And the Patrona doppelganger still exists to this day. We still have Catherine, we still have Elena. So
I think it was Petrova, but yeah.
Petrova, yeah.
My theory is that, the veil was created to keep, Silas from passing on so that he would have to suffer. I kind of think, she never announced it or said, she said she killed Amora, but maybe she put Amora in the same place, and that's why the doppelgangers keep popping up. Because, you would think, if you think about it, if she was immortal, but Ketsei killed her, and she's gone, like gone, there's no way she can come back as a ghost or whatever. There's no veil for her to transcend into the physical world. Why would there be a place for doppelgangers? She's gone.
This is true. But we've already learned that doppelgangers are considered supernatural entities.
This is true.
And things like the ring would not work on Elena, the spell ring and different things like that. The same reason why the ring stopped working for Jeremy after he became a hunter. So all the supernatural entities all go to the veil, right? They don't pass on further than that. And that is why Bonnie can't talk to other people that just happen to pass on, like her father. So, because they went somewhere else as to where she is.
Yeah.
She's almost in like a purgatory. It's like a supernatural purgatory.
It's crappy.
Yeah. So, we get to see Gregor inhabiting Matt's body now. So, it seemed like there's certain triggers that he can actually take full control of Matt, and he made Matt go dig up his body, I believe. We see him, like, Matt take off, and then he wakes up, and he's got mud all over his boots. He's laying out, passed out in the middle of the floor. He's got a knife on him, he doesn't really know what happened. He plays it off. He tries to play it cool. So, do you think that's the case? Like, do you think Gregor's the one that can take control, or do you think Nadia is actually in control of that?
I think Nadia can open up that door so Gregor can do what he's told.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Nadia also wants to just say, okay, Matt, get the hell out. Gregor's taking your body. I think that's happening too.
So she wants to make this a permanent thing.
Yeah.
So how would that affect Matt?
He'd probably end up getting thrown to the veil.
Or would he be in the subconscious, much like Gregor is now? Do you think they would just trade places? And then it would have to take some catalyst to have Matt fight back to take control of his body.
That's a possibility. I mean, and that's, a conflict that is really, really could happen. But, like, once Elena and everybody else finds out, Matt's not going to be alone in that at all.
Right.
Gregor's going to have a handful of trouble.
So, do you think they're going to find out before this transformation happens, or?
Oh, of course they will. They're going to try and stop it.
Gregor's going to take full control, and they're going to have to reverse it.
It might come to the point where they find out, but it might be too late, or they can't do anything until it happens. And when it does happen, then that's when they can act, kind of thing, or I don't know.
Yeah. So Nadia kind of pledges her loyalty to Silas. Do you think she's adamant about this, or what? Does she stand behind what she said?
I don't know. She seems pretty tricky. I don't really trust her.
Both sides.
I think she's playing both sides.
So what do you think she's more for or against Silas?
I don't know what she claims to be a traveler. That's what she called herself, right?
She said she distanced herself from the travelers, though.
That's probably because she's a vampire. She's very much supernatural in that way. The way she attacked Catherine at the bar when Elena and Damon and her went to get Stefan, the last place he had been. She was so vampire. It was crazy. So that's probably a reason why she distanced herself. But, I mean, she was part of the Travelers at one point.
So
what are the Travelers?
I'm almost picking up some kind of witchy vibe from her. That's funny. You're picking up a vampire vibe. I'm picking up a witchy vibe. I don't quite know.
A vampire witch?
We already kind of learned that with Bonnie's mother, that's not a thing. Bonnie's mother was a witch. She turned into a vampire. And then she kind of explained the whole witch's essence is manipulating life. Like, they draw their power from life. And vampires are death. So she lost all her witch powers. So I don't think there could be a hybrid vampire witch.
There's a hybrid vampire werewolf, and the werewolves get bit by, or the werewolves bite a vampire and kill them. So I mean, there is that, it's not balanced at all, either combination. So it is possible.
It'd be very interesting. There would have to be she'd have to have an incredible backstory to make that happen. I wouldn't see that just she got bit or something. It wouldn't be something like that. It'd have to be some form of a spell or something that was put on her, maybe by the Travelers themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that could definitely be an interesting turn of events. So, but why do you think she'd want Silas dead in the first place?
Maybe she is some sort of witch, and Silas is that corruption, and a lot of people want to correct that, by killing him, just by getting rid of him. He shouldn't be around.
Yeah. So we saw a bit of Catherine this episode, and she kind of tried to drive a wedge between Damon and Elena. Do you think she's doing that because she still has feelings for Damon, or that she wants to seek some kind of revenge at Elena for turning her human?
I think she just doesn't like Elena, and whether she's human or vampire, she's doing everything to make Elena just feel miserable, and she's just... Catherine is an amazing character because she wants to get her way. She is that drama queen, and she will do anything to get that her way, even if she has no reason to anyways. She just does it.
So she's basically, you think she's just being a bitch, or
Oh yeah.
is she manipulating this because she actually has a plan?
She always has a plan. I mean, there's always a plan, but you'll never know until it's actually out there in your face, and she's done it already.
Yeah. Well, we finally learned why Silas is after Catherine this episode, and it's kind of what we surmised, that Catherine is the cure.
Yeah.
Her blood is now the cure. So that means any vampires that attack her, Steph and Damon, if they happen to bite her, they are now
Human.
cured.
Yeah.
So this doesn't rule out the possibility that Elena could become human again.
No.
So definitely interesting little thing going on. Now, do you think there's some way to reverse this process?
Oh, of course, there's gotta be a way. But I mean, I think Silas is the only one that knows about Catherine's blood being the cure. Everybody else is still kind of like she's wanted by Silas for some reason. They don't know why.
And Ketsia definitely seems to know.
Oh yeah, but she's not gonna tell anyone. She's gonna use it to her own advantage, whatever that might be.
Yeah. So, any other final thoughts for this episode?
Need more Damon being a badass.
I think that's coming, because they've already kind of hinted at the fact that Stefan and Elena are kind of destined to be together. So Damon is not going to take that well.
Or he might just, put on a hat and drive a train and get the hell out of town.
Okay, train's leaving the station. Choo choo.
Oh.
So, on that note, where could the people find you?
On Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
And you can follow us on youtube.com/ASOTV podcast for more of your favorite TV shows on our podcast. Yes. You asked me to say that faster last show we recorded, and now I just completely botched it up.
Yep. That's okay, though.
Catch you guys later.